Fallout from the brutal police beating of Tyre Nichols continued into the weekend. I'm Jeff Pierre, and this is The 7 from The Washington Post. It's Monday, January 30th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories.
No peace! No peace!
Video was released Friday of the beating of Tyre Nichols in Memphis. It caused widespread outrage, prompting protests across the country. Nichols is the 29-year-old black man who died earlier this month after being beaten by police. The footage of the attack, among other things, showed that it took 22 minutes for an ambulance to arrive to help. President Biden has echoed calls for police reform, urging Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. If you don't know who Tyre Nichols was outside of this terrible tragedy, The Washington Post has a video on our site that explores his life. According to his friends and his family, he loved skating and sunsets. Number 2, violence continued to escalate between Israelis and Palestinians this weekend. Hundreds of Israeli settlers targeted Palestinians across the occupied West Bank. This follows a deadly attack on a Palestinian refugee camp on Thursday and a shooting Friday at a Jerusalem synagogue. Israeli raids in the West Bank have escalated over the past year, and critics say that a new far-right government is making the conflict worse. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is set to visit Israel today and tomorrow. Number 3.
The Philadelphia Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl.
The Philadelphia Eagles beat the San Francisco 49ers 31-7 yesterday for the NFC Championship. They'll meet the Kansas City Chiefs at Super Bowl 57. The Chiefs beat the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 in the AFC title game. It might be worth checking out if you missed it. The Super Bowl will be Sunday, February 12th at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Rihanna will headline the halftime show. This is also big news. She hasn't released a studio album or performed in years. Number 4, Donald Trump kicked off his presidential campaign this weekend. The former president announced his latest bid for the White House back in November. He appeared in New Hampshire and South Carolina over the weekend. These are 2 key early primary states. Trump is the only Republican running so far, and he doesn't have much momentum. And he spoke in smaller settings this weekend, a departure from the large rallies he's typically known for. Over 66,000 war crimes have been reported in Ukraine. That's story number 5. The growing number of allegations range from property theft to torture, murder, rape, the deportation of children to Russia, and missile strikes on key infrastructure. Ukraine has said that it will investigate all cases and bring to trial any instance in which there's enough evidence to be gathered. 25 Russians have been convicted so far. Number 6, Novak Djokovic made tennis history by winning the Australian Open yesterday. The 35-year-old star tied Rafael Nadal's men's record of 22 Grand Slam championships. Here he is in a press conference after the match.
The first time is always special, but considering the circumstances and everything that my team and I had to go through and endure the last 2-3 weeks, I would say, this ranks, if not the biggest achievement, then right up there with the things that were on the line.
This is also a comeback. Djokovic was deported from Australia last year and banned from the U.S. Open because he refused to get the coronavirus vaccine. And number 7. We can all agree that chocolate is delicious, but scientists have now just figured out why. They developed a 3D printed tongue to taste dark chocolate. Their findings, which were published earlier this month, suggest that everything comes down to chocolate's slick outer layer, which is fat. The discovery could pave the way for a new generation of chocolate designed not only to be very tasty, but also healthier and more sustainable. And just like that, you are all caught up. I'm Jeff Pierre. Happy Monday, and I will meet you back here tomorrow.